exit 48 on 295 South. We are going towards Orlando. And yeah, the weather's at rising. The temperature is rising. We are at 89 degrees. I'm guessing we're still in Jacksonville area. Sorry you don't get any music because there's too many copyrights until I figure out how to do it. This will be your live traffic because I have nothing better to do while I'm driving. Figure out the live at some point, so here we go. Anyway, if you're on here, you want to hear about world peace, leave your volume up. If you don't, leave your volume down. So, I'm on a mission. This world peace mission, and yo bro, that was close. And we are hitting some traffic here on 295. Not much. Listen, there was so much traffic yesterday that this is nothing. I mean, miles and miles of traffic yesterday. It was crazy. I'm getting away from this guy. I don't like the way he brakes. He's making me brake hard. Got things on my roof. Can't slip in front of him. Oh, I'm not gonna do that thing that I do. I'm not gonna do it on live. Sorry. It's just incriminating yourself doing it live, right? That little Indian monument over there. Okay, so anyway, here we are. Exit 51. Beach Boulevard, 1 mile. 295 South. Traffic is cruising along. Anyway, we're going to do this world peace talk. So yeah, if you don't want to hear it, just turn off the volume. You watch the traffic. We're at 89 degrees here in probably Jacksonville, Butler Boulevard, 2 miles away. And energy, right? Everything. It's all energy. And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just is. So all energies exist at the same time. The past, the present, the future, they're all existing. Now, the good thing about energy is that we can raise the vibration of things. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen a healing done where people just lay hands on people and people get healed. It really happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to many people I know. It's a real thing. So anyway, my whole movement right now and getting this World Peace Tribe together are just people that are willing to take the chance, roll the dice, and just think about world peace and what it would feel like in their hearts, how it would make them feel, how it would make people in all of the countries around the world feel to have world peace right now. And just by doing that, by feeling that in your heart, like, what would world peace feel like to you? What would world peace feel like to a child on the other side of the planet that's going through some serious situation right now? You know, what would it feel like for them to get world peace right now? And then it would definitely be comforting, you know? So anyway, just by thinking about that, you created a space for it energetically within you and within the world, for you to connect to all energies of world peace and allow them to emanate and grow in the world, in the universe, you know? And I wonder what that looks like if you're looking down from heaven, you know, what it looks like to see beautiful energies coming from people that are, you know, they want world peace for themselves, but they really want world peace for the world, you know. Anyway, that must look beautiful, you know, as an energy. If you could see energy and energy was colorful, it would probably be a magnificent rainbow of colors. But anyway, yeah, we are in, like, astrologically in the age of Aquarius and heading into. So we also have a comet out there that's not actually a comet, and it's coming from universes beyond, filled with dust from these universes, bringing us a really unique energy. It's an activation of our DNA and our spirituality and our being of our higher selves. So, you know, right now we're supposed to be doing things pertaining to unity and humanitarianism and the greatest good of all, for all. So participating in a world peace activation is basically what we're all supposed to be doing right now, but you don't have to. It's, you know, it's free will, man, if you want to. And if you want to just roll the dice and check it out and see if it works and see if you connect to more peaceful energies by participating in thinking about what world peace would feel like to yourself in your heart, and opening up that heart space for world peace to be activated within you. And it's just basically creating a space energetically within yourself and around you for world peace.
In 2 miles, take exit 58 on the left, onto State Road 9B South, towards St. Augustine.
Thank you, love. St. Augustine. So that's what's happening right here, right now. We are creating, or in the midst of creating, these tribes and groups, whatever you want to call them. Doesn't make a difference what you call them, but just like making people aware that they are energetic superheroes, that they can, you know, bring peace to the planet just by thinking about it. And all right, I don't know if we're still live or not. I just clicked that to see if I'm making a left here, which I am. So yeah, it's just a matter of doing that, and that's how you become part of an activation of World Peace Tribe, is just by believing in world peace. And there's a lot of cynical people out there that are like, oh,
use the left 2 lanes to take exit 58 on the left, onto State Road 9B South, towards St. Augustine.
You know, there's a lot of cynical people who would say that that's not possible. But I encourage them even more to try it, because when you can turn somebody who's such a
Keep left.
into believing and receiving, then
In about 5 miles, take exit 4B on the left, to merge onto I-95 South, towards Daytona Beach.
yeah, so I'm sure you all heard that. So we're going back to 95 South. That's originally what the plan was, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's just all energetic healers, you know. You have the power within you to feel what you want to feel and to think what you want to think. It's called free will. And a lot of times, the news, the media, the TVs, blah, 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 you know, even me, what I'm doing is influencing you to use your energies in a certain manner for the greatest good of all. And of course, for the greatest good of yourself, you know, because everybody wants peace within them. And I would think if you don't, you're probably on the wrong channel. Okay? This is not a channel for you, because this is the channel for peace now. And anybody who wants to participate in thinking about peace or moving the energies of peace and activating them and allowing them to emanate across the universe, across the world, especially to all those people that need it the most, you know. And people that need it the most sometimes cannot even fathom thinking about it because it's not happening at that moment. There's many other things going on at that moment. So your energy, scientifically, if 1% of the whole world was to pray for peace, not pray, but, you know, energetically believe in peace, we would have peace on earth. Isn't that amazing? 1% of the world. So, anyhow, what's that, like 80 million people or something like that? I don't think that's that many to have to get this thing activated. But, getting over here, St. Augustine, back to 95, from this one, Jacksonville to 95. Yeah, it's been a long drive. I'm from New York to Florida and places in between. I had a really nice time in North Carolina and Asheville. It's very connected. It's good. A lot of good energy there.
In 2 miles, take exit 4B on the left to merge onto I-95 South, Daytona Beach.
So that's what this is about. If you want to create, like, hopefully when I get back to Jupiter, we can create a drum circle. Yes, I just did that. Wait a second. Yeah, we can create a drum circle. Yeah, it'd be nice to create a drum circle in Jupiter again, and you know, have it be legit. Have some legit drummers come in, and anyone, like a drum circle, the way it started out years ago was like a fire on the beach, you know, and people just bringing some drums and banging on them, and, you know, they were just really good at it, and everybody would join in, and I think anyone could play.
Use the left lane to take exit 4B on the left to merge onto I-95 South towards Daytona Beach.
Daytona Beach. Yes, ma'am. So, anyway.
Exit left.
Just saying. Anyone can really play the drums. The hand drums. And, you know, bring a tambourine, bring a harmonica. I love playing harmonica at the beach in the wind with the, you know, drums going in the background, or bring a flute, man. You could play any instrument at these drum circles, really. You know, I've seen all kinds of instruments at the drum circles, but it's about community. It's about bringing people together, and it's about, you know, raising your endorphins without having to get all wasted or anything. You know, just enjoy being sober and having.
For about 117 miles, continue straight on.
Well, I can't say being sober. I mean, a lot of people just smoke weed and stuff, and it's just you know, weed can have its indifferences too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could smoke weed and you could just be living like in this box that you created, like the four walls that you create around yourself. And, you know, years ago, weed was to me like an expansion, like the great, you know, mind opener, or, you know, thinking outside of the box. And I just found that the more you smoked weed, you know, because I loved it. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I thought everyone should smoke weed, you know, and just chill out. But you know, now hindsight's 2020. So after years and years, if you smoke weed for years, like I'd smoke weed and I'd stop just to make sure I would be able to stop, because they used to say back in the day that weed was like the worst thing you can do. It's the gateway to all drugs. It's addictive, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bullshit. You know, that wasn't true. I'd stop smoking all the time for months at a time. I wouldn't have any, you know, withdrawal symptoms or weird, you know, I mean, nothing that was noticeable, you know. You might have wanted to smoke, but just not had any. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You let it go. It's no big deal. It's not like your body's going through jonesing. But now, wait, let me go back a little bit. So what happened was I found, you know, after smoking for a few years at a time,
Stay in the left 3 lanes.
and not stopping every couple of months, that you become more enclosed in these four walls, you know, in these, whatever you created. And it's like you make your world really small, you know. And my weird thing was this, you know, I had kids in school, and I would just be like, if there was anything that needed to be done at the school, oh, leave it up to the PTA. They know what they're doing. Are you kidding me? I don't know what the hell I was thinking, because they came out with this FCAT test, right? And Jeb Bush was the guy who came out with it. He was making like $40 on every one of those exams. And these exams were meant to take away the creative thought process and the imagination of our children, okay? Now, when I discovered that, I was like, who is okaying these exams? Because I only found out about it because my son had to take this test in like 3rd grade, and and you could go online and you could take the test, right? So as a parent, I went online and I took the 3rd grade exam to see what we were up against. And it turns out we were up against, like, you'd read a paragraph and there were 10 answers. You had to pick the most correct answer, okay? That is narrowing your brain down to think as a robot like everybody else, you know? And they had to get everything right on this exam. If they didn't pass this exam, they were like screwed. And the teachers wouldn't make any money, blah, 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 blah. You don't even want to know about them, whatever. It's just a bunch of that. So I started www.fthefcat.com, you know, because I was not having it. And I took my kid out of school. I started homeschooling him. I was like, no, you cannot shoot my child up with vaccines, and you cannot take his, you know, his creative thought process and his imagination. Are you crazy? And all these other parents, they just were all working 2 jobs because the cost of living was so high that you had to have 2 parents working to survive, just to pay the rent and to feed your kids and make a car payment or pay the bills or the insurance or whatever, you know. And yeah, it was me out there with my flyers and my t-shirts, and people's families were so stressed out because the kids were so stressed out because the teachers were so stressed out. The teachers were stressing the kids out to the point of them having breakdowns daily, you know, about having to go to school and having to pass this FCAT exam. The whole year was like, anyway, that is what happened with the FCAT. And I stopped smoking weed, and I became the person to reckon with. I became the person who spoke my mind about what was going on. And because all these other people were just accepting it. All these PTA mothers are like, oh yeah, we have to do this and we have to. Do you know how corrupt the school system is? If people knew what was actually going on in the school system, they wouldn't send their kids to school. You know? I applaud every parent who homeschools and allows their children to think outside of the box and have their own brain, not be a robot, not get stressed out by tests and exams. And, you know, we have the internet. The only reason these kids are still in school is because their parents need to pay the bills. And, you know, someone has to watch the kids. And these schools are just babysitters. That's what they are now. You're not teaching your kids nothing. Your kids can learn more than the teacher at this point. You know? So, I'm just saying, you got to think outside the box sometimes. And people are starting to form new communities. People are fed up with the prices of just trying to survive and live on this planet. And not to mention the fact that all these people that are living out of their cars because they couldn't afford any, you know, accommodating housing that wasn't in like a, you know, infested area. And then they started living out of trailers, and now they're trying to stop people from living out of trailers and mobile homes. Are you kidding me? Like, the world is gonna, the people are gonna take back the world, is what's gonna happen. And they're gonna realize who's running this place. And when they find out who's running this place, they are not gonna be happy. But we're going to come together collectively as we are. And that is why I'm promoting this world peace thing. Trust me, it's not just about world peace. It's about every single issue that you're dealing with and people are dealing with in life. Because it all goes together. You know, it's all part of the same thing, the same energy thing. And once you get the world peace thing going and you realize that you are an energetic superhero and that you can help and aid in making the world a better place just by believing in your heart a better world, that's when we start really making some changes. And I implore you, when working with energy, that you make things for the highest good of all. That you aren't using it in anything that would be opposite good. Okay? So as long as you're doing things in a good way, good intention, good energy, you could put this into the ocean. You could stand in the ocean and you could put your good intention into the ocean. And it emanates. It will, water has memory, and you could change the molecular structure of water to pristine by putting good words into it, around it. Any good intention that you put into water grows, and it just carries. It's like a message that goes through the water. And you can look that up with Dr. Emoto stuff. Dr. Yusori Emoto. Yeah. Anyway, it's beautiful, man. It's 89 degrees and mile marker, what was that, 322. Headed south. It's cloudy, but it's beautiful. I mean, the clouds are probably stopping it from being 100 degrees. So that's what's happening, man. And to the person who was calling a bunch of times, I am not avoiding you. I am just trying to get this live stuff off me. I hope I'm not filming that man peeing, but I don't think that was. Okay, I don't want anybody looking before I turn the camera. So yeah, we're hitting a little traffic here on the I-95 South. Oh my God, it's a nun broken down in a van. That was the strangest thing. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but that was pretty, wow. This is very innocent looking nun, or woman dressed as a nun with a brown nun looking thing on, not a black one. I don't know if that's a different type of nun, but she had the thing on her head, and she had a van filled with stuff, and she was pulled over with a cop behind her. I don't know. Let's just pray she's okay and she's all good. Yeah, so, you know what people do, man. What do? They do what the hippies did. You know, remember the hippies? Well, back in the 60s, the hippies were protesting something that was really not a good thing. And I don't want to mention it because why say it? But they were protesting it because they believed in love. And they didn't want to go against what they believed in. So they laid in the fields, they created groups, they created tribes, they went into the woods, and they became activists for peace, right? It's a beautiful thing. I could be sitting here talking to myself because I don't even know if this live is still live anymore. But anyway, they prayed for peace. They believed in peace. They loved each other. They took care of one another. They understood energy, and they stayed in the woods because the energy, although they were hiding out, but they were also, you know, around a really beautiful energy of the woods. And they became naturalists, and they learned, you know, how to make medicines and eat, you know, natural things out of their surroundings, which is awesome. And they made other people aware of it, you know, and their families at the time were like, yo, this ain't right. You know, you can't do this. You can't go against the GOP and, you know, what the world is, and you have to participate. And really, not so much, you know. And they stood their ground, you know. But the sad thing was that a lot of the hippies and the flower children found drugs. And they were using these drugs, and a lot, I don't really think it was so much the activists, but the people that were following the activists, that were like, just rebelling against the world and what it was standing for, and what, they didn't believe in it. They believed in love. And, I guess they tripped on acid a little bit, and, they kind of got in that, oh, we have to do drugs to get out of our own way. But really, they didn't need to do drugs to get out of their own way. They used the drugs as a great escape. And, that was one thing. But to continue doing them and to start, well, take heroin because you won't feel a thing. And this came from, that was just out of control. And that was, believe it or not, the people running the country were allowing that stuff to go down. And it was, part of the what they were creating, So that hippie movement actually worked. And they raised the vibration of love so much, and compassion. And, the people at home, the mothers and fathers that lost their loved ones, let's say, to the chaos that was happening, they realized that maybe these children were right. And they started embracing their hippie flower children when they came home. At first, they were shunning them because they represented, going against the United States, or going against the flag, or going against whatever, but going against the average bear. But really, those were the children that were thinking outside the box and knew, this is not of God. This is not of love. This has nothing to do with love, and I'm not going to participate in it. And just like, I'm telling you, like, the whole flower children movement, they went through a lot to get where we were, to where we were free again, and even at that point, things started changing, and the computers came in, and a whole nother world was happening, but it connected all of the people, and it connected groups of people, and people were able to find other people like them through these internet passages. And now we're still in that, and we're still in the making of what that really is, because people are, musically connecting, they're all kinds of connecting. They're physically connecting, they're mentally connecting, they're spiritually connecting, they're emotionally connecting, they're growing. But what's happening right now, like the culmination of everything that has happened to this point, is basically coming together, unifying, and activating the energies by feeling and taking a moment. When you're meditating, take a moment to just focus on world peace. Not on yourself, just on the world. Focus on what it would look like to have world peace. When you're doing a meditation, focus on what it would feel like to have world peace. What it would smell like, what it would taste like, what it would be to wake up to or go to sleep That could be my daughter saying, "Ma, what are you talking about?" But anyway, what I'm trying to put out there right now is the only way to achieve world peace is to at least think about it, at least believe that it's possible, and at least, just at least think about it. And that's it. I really think I have to take this phone call. So I'm going to shut this off and take this phone call here. So I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Peace and love.